Hi, I'm Niamh. I'm an AuDHDer, sexologist and developmental educator, and I want to talk about why scheduling intimacy is not the enemy of desire. Most of us have been taught that desire should just appear out of nowhere, like it's meant to leap out of the bushes and surprise us. But in real life, desire is usually buried under work stress, laundry, parenting, chronic illness, mental load, all of the things that make us who we are. And Dr. Emily Nagoski talks about two kinds of desire: spontaneous, which is that sudden spark, and responsive, which grows once you've already started to feel connected or stimulated. And both are totally normal. Both shift with stress, hormones, disability, medication, aging, all of it. So when life gets full, scheduling intimacy is less about forcing anything and more about saying we matter enough and we want this enough to make space for this. And intimacy doesn't necessarily just mean sex. It's a whole ecosystem. It can be things like touching, cuddling, experiencing emotional closeness, sharing fantasies, mutual pleasure, or simply having that protected time where you're not in task mode. And when we get to widen the definition of what intimacy means to us, scheduling becomes less about performance and more about connection, whatever your body actually wants on that day. There are real benefits too. If you and your partner or partners have different levels of desire, scheduling means that the higher desire partner doesn't have to carry the emotional labor of always initiating, and the lower desire partner gets that predictability and the time to shift gears. For neurodivergent folks, trauma survivors, parents, carers, anyone who needs that metaphorical runway, predictability in those situations is a gift. Knowing what's coming helps your body to regulate and actually arrive in that moment. And honestly, anticipation is hot. When you know you've got that protected window coming up, your brain starts to soften out of task mode and you might flirt more or fantasize more or just feel a bit more connected because you know that something tender and playful is on the horizon. Scheduling intimacy isn't a rigid 8:30 p.m. appointment for you to show up to with a timer. It can be a weekly window that you just dedicate that time to show up for. It could be something like a flirty calendar invite, a check-in ritual about what your body needs that day, a commitment to communicating your desires, a moment where you stop being parents or problem solvers and you're just people choosing each other in this way. The schedule acts as more of an invitation rather than an obligation, and you can always pivot. You can always choose closeness in a different form. Consent is ongoing, and that flexibility is part of the deal. At the end of the day, every relationship has its own ecology. Scheduling intimacy is just one way, and a really gentle and realistic way for many of us, to protect those conditions that help you to feel safe, to feel open and connected. Hi, I'm